Hello and welcome to Resilience and Relationships R&R. I'm Stephanie Olson and I'm here with, and we are going to react to the story in an interview with Mary Kay Letourneau. Now, some of you know her and some of you don't. We actually did a podcast on minors attracted persons, and we started talking about this topic, and Rebecca had no idea who Mary Kay Letourneau was. That's age for you. But we're going to react to this video because this is quite a video. We'll not react to everything, but I want to react to some key things that are said during this. And I thought it would be fun to get Rebecca's take since she has no idea who this is. So here we go.
Mary Kay Letourneau made world news when she seduced her 12-year-old student, Billy Falau.
A 35-year-old teacher who had sex with a 13-year-old sixth grader sentenced to 18
Mary
days.
Kay Letourneau, the last person you would suspect of being a molester of children.
Billy is now her husband. Then there's their children. Audrey, born while their mother was on trial, and Georgia, born in prison.
It was wrong, and I am sorry.
As we'll see tonight, this is a family still grappling with the truth of what happened more than 2 decades ago. And who was to blame?
When did you first meet Billy?
Meet? Well, I met his brothers and older sister before I met him. So there are 4 in his family. And then the first time I was familiar with the name Billy Falau, gosh, I don't know, 1989, 88, not sure.
Was that when you were here his year 2 teacher?
He was one of my students back then. I hardly remember. Of course, I remember his name. So, and I knew the Falau family because I knew the other siblings. So, before, and then here came a unique one.
I just want to point out here that I think that she's having a lot of trouble responding to that question, when did you first meet? Because she absolutely knows when they first met. He was a 6th grade student. And maybe he did meet her earlier because she had other siblings in the classroom. But it's not the typical, oh, when did you first meet? Oh, we met on a date. No, he was a 6th grader in her school. And so I think there's a lot of deflecting happening.
Yeah, you got to skirt around the question because if you answer it directly, you can hear how wrong it is.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so we'll continue.
This will be a test of your memory, Billy. I mean, you would have been 8 or so back then. Do you have any memory of those years?
I have, not really, good memories, but some of them are just random, just pretty much random stuff.
What sort of memories?
I remember hiding in the closet. There's a closet in the
Oh, no.
in the classroom, and then me and my friends, we used to be in there hiding in the classroom.
From Mary?
Why don't you say what you were doing hiding in the
You're
closet?
just hiding in the closet.
No, what did you tell me you were doing?
Oh, that's weird to talk about right now.
Which only makes me want to know about it even more. Go on, Mary. What was he doing in the closet?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
this
just
is
really-
what you said to me is yeah, we'd hide in the closet and we'd hope you'd walk past so we could look under your skirt. I'm like, what the heck? I mean, who's tells years later, is that what you told? It is what you told me.
Does that make you feel better?
No, I'm just saying.
Do I need a pause for mediation here?
No, I'm just saying, it was what does he remember? That's what he told me he remembered. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, right.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah.
So even in this interview, there are lines being crossed, and this makes me so uncomfortable.
Yes.
He was a little boy who was curious, like a lot of little boys are.
Right.
He did something embarrassing that he doesn't want to relive. And she's saying, oh, yes, let's say that on television.
Yes.
Even though you just expressed you're uncomfortable with it.
Yeah.
It makes him out to be the weird one, even though you were the adult in the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not try to say that this was all on him.
Well, and I think what she's doing in part is setting up the conversation that he pursued me. And so instead of, yes, I seduced a child, he was trying to look at my skirt. He obviously wanted me. And so it's taking away the conversation between adult and child, and it changes. It's a mess, right? So
That really is.
yeah. Okay, here we go. It just gets worse.
This is a tough question. What first attracted you to Mary? Can you remember?
She was pretty, and yeah, I think that was it.
Yes.
I could not even conduct this interview because why is this the conversation?
Well, he gets deeply into it. Yes. Yeah.
I'm like getting angry watching this. And mind you, I haven't seen this before. So
right.
I
know. Well, and I love, so love is not the right word. I think it's fascinating his answer because I thought she was pretty. Put yourself in a 12-year-old's brain. That's what they're thinking, right? What did you find attractive about Mary? What did you, if you would ask me that about my husband, I would start listing off legitimate things like he's a good father. He puts his family first. He, all of those things. As a 12-year-old, she was pretty. And again, it goes back to that. We're not talking about two adults and two adult minds. Anyway, yeah. He does, I think, if I remember correctly, he does a decent job at digging. But yes. Okay.
I guess you've got to start somewhere. I'm just getting upset.
I suppose. I know. It's really hard. And of course, we also have to remember right now that they are two adults. The key is, and I'll be curious about the consensual part, because when there is grooming and coercion, you can't really, there's that consensual piece is troubling, right? But he is a grown adult. They have kids. I mean, it's a weird dynamic today. So, okay.
And then, I don't know, I kind of like that she drew a little bit. She taught some art stuff, and I thought that was kind of cool. And then I think like in 6th grade, we kind of connected on certain things. Kind of like saw common views on stuff, life, and
similar interests.
Yeah. So,
Mary, when did you first realize I have feelings for a student?
Probably, well, first of all, he wasn't my student when any feelings. So, which I think is really important. Here, it was very important for here in the United States, in the state of Washington, it was really important for it to be put out, I guess politically in a lot of legislation. It was important to portray it as if it was a student-teacher relationship, but it really wasn't. So even though once upon a time, even you ask, well, when did you first? Well, I feel kind of awkward answering that because it's sort of wanting to connect it to this was a student-teacher relationship, and which is really big in law, and doesn't matter, coach, teacher, supervisory.
She's saying it was like sometime.
So it was after. Yeah. So I am saying that.
Did you catch his body language shift?
Yep. Go ahead, describe it. Do you want to take a look at it slowly?
For some of you who may not be able to see, his face tightened. He looked away. Like, I am not a body language analysis, but I would guess I don't agree with what you're saying. This is false. I feel like you can hear in the way that she's talking. She's like, I know the words that I'm not supposed to say. I'm supposed to push to help me not get in trouble.
Right.
Worse.
Okay.
Ugh, and that thing about common interests.
It's gross.
What adult has common interests on a deep level?
Right. His body language shifted because I don't think that's true. And this is his deposition. So when she was arrested, I'm going to show you just a portion of his deposition and listen to what he says here.
And he's what, 12 or 13 at this point?
Yes, I think he was 13 or 14 because it was at the arrest, yeah.
At the end of the school year in June 1996, 6th grade teacher Mary Kay Letourneau took 12-year-old Billy Fulau out to dinner.
She took me out because I finished all my tests and all my assignments that were late to turn in, and because I got 100% on all of them.
So you had completed all your work for the 6th grade?
Yeah.
And she was taking you out to dinner to reward you for that?
Yeah. She started playing footsies with me, so, and I started kicking her feet away. She started coming back, and then we just started playing, and we ordered our food, our meal. They set it down on the table, and we ate.
After dinner, they sat in the car in the parking lot.
I asked her, what would you do if I was to kiss you right now? And I went over and I kissed her.
Was that the first time that you kissed?
Yes.
A few days later, Mary and Billy were parked in a marina in suburban Seattle.
Okay.
So even though once upon a time,
So there's
even you asked.
So there
it was
was
after.
Yeah, there was his Swift.
Cool, but it was
There was
Yeah.
quite a bit there.
Yeah.
His tightened, he looked down and away.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever she said something else, his eyebrows looked surprised.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I think what she's saying.
Yes.
Not what happened or anything. Oh, I think the story she's trying to tell right now is.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Okay.
Let me ask you, Billy, in a different way. At what point did this morph, I guess, from teacher and former student to boyfriend and girlfriend?
Just a friendship, really. And then during summertime, things just got a little closer, and there was some I don't even know how to say it, dramatic stuff going on, drama.
Really?
There was plenty of dramatic stuff going on.
And again, that's not possible. You can't have a boyfriend and girlfriend relationship when you have adult child. You can't have a true friendship when you have adult. I mean, these are not consensual things on Billy's part. He can't consent to this.
Comment on that.
I feel so uncomfortable even laughing because there's nothing funny about this at all. So yeah, go ahead.
Well, first of all, whenever he's like, let me ask you in a different way, she immediately looks over and she's studying him. Like, what are you going to say?
Mm-hmm.
Which is another sign that there's some deceitfulness here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, of course it was traumatic. Of course. And I think her trying to laugh it off like, oh, really? Is like, hey, no, remember? This was your idea.
Yeah.
And, oh, this is just so uncomfortable.
It's the worst. It really is. Okay. Let's keep being uncomfortable. Oh, I forgot to tell you. She was married.
There's a whole nother layer.
I forgot that part. Yes. Go ahead.
Did she have any kids before that? Do we know?
I don't think so. Now that you say that, I'm confused, but I don't think so. But we'll keep watching because we'll find out if she did. But yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of things that kind of just led to us kind of connecting on a deeper level. And then it got even more wild, crazy once the police found out and her husband found out. And
I think we spoke to each other as if in that summer we felt like it was boyfriend girlfriend, and that's why I guess that's what there wasn't a teacher's.
Okay,
I
that
think it
doesn't
was-
prove anything.
No, it
You
doesn't.
can take an art class at college at whatever age you'd like. That does not prove anything.
Right. But all of this stuff, this wasn't, and again, she's removing it from hey, it wasn't teacher student, which it was, but it wasn't teacher student. So that's not wrong. No, it still is adult child. Whether you were a teacher or whether you were a grocery clerk and he happened to be a customer, it's wrong. Period. Yeah.
It's a minor. The end.
It's a minor. Right. Okay.
I'm sure at this point in life, they're married. They have 2 daughters. I mean, she has said to the world, this is a consensual relationship. I'm assuming that's what she said at this point, at least sometime. But there's been so much denial that if she were to actually accept her role in this, she would have to look at her children and say, yes, I sexually abused your father, and that's why you came in this world. I mean, there's so many layers.
100%.
So much self-protection happening with this denial.
Well, and yeah, There's so much. I think we could talk about that forever. The actual not taking responsibility for things like this, because it's very uncomfortable to accept the reality that, yes, I essayed a child. That's hard to accept, I'm sure. But until you accept it and take responsibility for it, you can't move forward. So, yeah. Okay. I need you to know that the first physical encounter, there is question about whether he was 12 or 13, but he was either 12 or 13. The first sexual encounter. So just keep that in mind as you're listening to this.
Well, and, okay, her saying, well, he did say he's in love with me. Yes. And we see that all the time when a child has been
My
groomed.
son told me he was in love with me when he was like 3 years old.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, good point. Yes, my baby's told me he wants to marry me.
Yep, absolutely.
Because, yes, there's a person that is...
He no longer wants to marry me, by the way.
That's
but he's 20.
Yes,
but, yeah.
Because you know what? When adults set proper boundaries with children, they outgrow that, or they learn what the appropriate feeling is. It's on the adult to set that boundary.
Right. They don't know what in love means. I mean, come on. At 12, 13. Anyway, yeah. Okay. That's why this is called essay, and it's not called boyfriend, girlfriend. It's not called consensual. It's not called...
Yes.
That's all you know. So for what I know that it was back then, yeah, I would say that was real love.
I'm trying to take a couple of steps back to when you first made that brave decision to say something to Mary. Was it initially on a dare or, in front of your mates?
Yeah, it was actually it started off that way with trying to get closer to her, but that was the reason.
Of which I knew nothing about.
Yeah, so that's how her and I started talking, was because there was that bet. And then, later down the road in the relationship, kind of just... the bet just wasn't even hadn't even crossed my mind anymore.
So he was playing around with friends like preteens do. And they, of course, all expected the adult to have healthy and safe boundaries in place so it would never happen. And then this particular teacher did not have any boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's so sad.
And I think there is a double standard. The reality is there is a double standard. If this happens, the hot teacher, right? The mindset of the female, and the boys are like, come on, that's so exciting. And there is that double standard in so many minds. It doesn't change the fact that that is abuse. It doesn't change it. And so even if, and this is the key, even if little child Billy wanted to date his teacher, that's where what you're talking about, that comes from a child's mind, and it is the job of the adult to put those boundaries in place and say, no, that's not something that is okay. And so I do think that's an important piece. So, yeah.
It reminds me of a disclosure I had after a presentation. I was talking to a group of social workers, and there was a male social worker who came up to me after the presentation and said, hey, thank you for this. It wasn't until today that I realized that I was actually trafficked. I said, oh my goodness. Would you like to share more? What can I do for you? He said, yeah, I'd like to share more. And so just okay. So he started telling me about it, and he's saying that he did try to disclose at one point. He was about that age, actually. And he tried to tell some of his friends because it was his teacher, was his trafficker, his female teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, congratulations, man. Like, that's so hot.
Yeah.
Her and her friends, that's amazing. And so he's like, oh, I guess I should be happy about this. And he said that's the last time he ever told anyone until that day.
Oh, that's so sad. So
because
sad.
Because he thought, oh, I guess this is something like I'm lucky.
Yes.
It wasn't until going through our curriculum that he realized the name for that is human trafficking. I was sex trafficked.
Yeah. Because he was sold by her to her friends.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Right. That's fascinating.
One thing, and I think this is is an answer to your question. It was, and I still think about this moment, and still, because I remember, well, I'm just saying, every time I think about this moment, you remember when you came to me right, you said, wait, and this was when it was a very, very end of the school year, and I don't even think school was really, I think it was basically done, things were closing up, but I was on my way out the door, and he said, wait a minute, and he said, how old do you think you're going to be when you die? And I said, I was really excited because I'm going to talk about my grandmother, right? And I know I just said my mom's going to live till 100, but my grandmother, which is not even her mother, my father's mother, she really did live to 103. And so I was really excited because he had never asked about my grandmother, or any, thing maybe beyond my parents. And I said, well, I'm going to at least be 100 because my grandmother right now is 100, and I'm most like her. And I started talking about how she still teaches piano, and she was 100, right? And I was really excited inside that he was interested in, I don't know. I was excited to talk about my grandmother, and he cut me off, and he said, well, if you're going to be 100, then I'm going to be 80 because I'm not living another day in this world without you. And I just was like, I looked.
Did you notice he didn't even smile?
Yeah.
When someone's talking about things that they love about their spouse and memories, usually the other person is drawn into that and smiles. He doesn't do that when she's reliving memories, which is interesting.
He looks very sad because it's trauma.
Well, she took his entire life. She took his entire childhood. So, yeah, it's sad.
I think, too, I don't know. I almost wonder what his view of this marriage is. My thought is, obviously, there was grooming that took place. He probably feels that he cannot say no to this relationship. With all of the media pressure, he probably feels pressure to stay in the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
This interview looks painful.
Mm-hmm.
My guess is this isn't really the life he wanted to live. He just doesn't know a way out. That's my guess.
What's fascinating about your relationship is that it has endured. That separates it from anything else that might go in the what people would call teacher-student space. But I think what I'm trying to get at is a sense of back at the time, at its inception, before this had evolved into something like love. Wasn't this just a physical relationship between a woman and a man, or I should say at that point, a little boy?
Well, you shouldn't say a little boy.
He was 13.
I know, but you shouldn't say a little boy.
Well, a teenage boy.
Well, some people are incarcerated in this state at age 13, and they're treated as an adult, and they're not called little boys, and they get a life sentence. So when you put it in that perspective, so it's like, which angle do you want to come at?
So incarceration, same as abuse, right? I mean,
wow.
Yeah. This is where we get to all the deflecting. It's fascinating. Little boy.
I mean, immediate energy shift. You shouldn't call him a little boy.
Right. Okay.
I want to come at it from the angle. No, I'll tell you.
Do you want to know? Are you hearing what I'm saying?
I'm hearing what you're saying, but I want to come at it from this angle. As a 34-year-old woman, did you have any philosophical problems, moral problems, with entertaining the idea of a relationship with a 13-year-old boy?
Well, I wasn't entertaining the idea, and that's my point.
But you clearly were.
Eventually, we both.
And did you have any pause at the time, thinking, Mary, stay away from him, this isn't right?
What I thought is, he doesn't understand that I have 4 children and I have responsibilities.
She did have children. That's right.
How old were her children?
So I don't know where they are. I don't know if she has a relationship with them at all. That's interesting.
If I were them, I probably would opt not to, so I could understand if that's what they chose.
And you have to keep in mind that now it's 20 years ago, and sure, in the last 10 years, all across the world, the laws have changed, and you'll even see, ever since Mary Letourneau, but see, that was 20 years ago. Now everybody has their eyes open and is aware, surely, I hope every teacher and forget about even the teacher part. I would hope that every adult that's a female, regardless of being a teacher, would know after my situation, pay attention. Because there are laws. You might think when you're in a world we were close, and no, we weren't thinking about those things. No, I wasn't. There were no laws back that anybody, there were no situations.
No, there were laws. There were laws, Mary.
Oh,
the law
there
was
weren't.
statutory rape.
For males. And if you look historically, it was a male only. And then the laws changed when equality. Let's go, Matt, on this. You want to? Because I'm ready.
Sure.
Okay, so the Equal Rights Amendments from state to state here in the United States, and it even happened over in Australia, New Zealand, and what's called the Equal Rights Amendment. And what they did is they gender neutraled the laws. Prior to that, it was male only. It was a male only statutory rape. So when did somebody get on the news and say, hello world, or hello New Zealand, hello, or I don't know how you do your states over there, but if they're in states. Nobody did a press release here in the state of Washington or in California where I was from and said, we have now changed the laws. It is no longer gender specific, a male only. When I grew up, sure, as a teenager, I knew that, if that male, the males knew, because it was a well-known thing, because a lot of dads out there were saying, stay away from the daughters here in this house, because I'll get a shotgun out, because you're older, and I can go to the police, and it would be called statutory rape. I don't care if you love my daughter. You're 26, you're 30, whatever you are, and my daughter's only 16, 13, 15, whatever. It was a very well-known statutory rape was.
Notice she doesn't finish sentences.
Yeah. Well, yes, because that would not look good for her to finish that thought.
Mm-hmm.
Not until I hurt a child did it become law. I mean,
yeah, right.
I looked it up, and what she's saying on that is true, which is crazy.
True. Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that. But also, do we need a law to tell us not to have sex with a child?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I too looked it up, and yeah, frighteningly, I can't say that word, but scarily enough, that is a true statement. But yes, just because, so it's gender specific. Awesome. I can't break the law because I'm a female. That is the most ridiculous argument I have ever heard in my life. But I do think it's interesting. She never finishes a sentence because there is no sentence there's no words you can put to that to make it okay. You just can't. It's horrifying.
My situation in the law, the conflict in the law, did.
So are you saying there was confusion about the law at that time, or that you didn't understand
Nobody
the law?
knew it. Who knew it? Who knew it?
But you knew.
No.
Mary, come on, you knew that it was not right, even if it wasn't black and white. If you didn't have the statutory papers there, you knew.
Morally, that's what you're saying? Morally.
No, I'm saying morally and legally.
Not the legally part, no.
But you were such a smart person.
One, I'd never even been in a courtroom. Yes, I am a smart person, but I'm like hyper-focused in my areas.
So you're saying, Matt, I'm a smart person, I'm revered as a teacher, but I just didn't know it wasn't right as a 34-year-old to be with a 13-year-old? Sorry, I just didn't know.
Not in a criminal sense, but I thought, first of all, you just said teacher again. And
well, you were his teacher in second grade.
Once upon a time. Yeah, okay, you keep going back to that.
Not at the same, I'm not saying it happened then. I'm saying at one point you were his teacher. Look, I'm not trying to get into semantics over that. I'm just trying to accept. In the end, you stood up in court and pleaded guilty to 2 counts of child rape.
To some elements.
2 counts of child rape.
Well, the only thing that title is a deterrent, and I'm glad it's there as a deterrent. Now I understand the laws in general.
Yeah, but I don't want to talk about the logistics of the law, Mary. I mean, you stood up and said, yes, I did it. I did something wrong.
No, I fit the elements that equal guilty to the elements, and we don't have to. If you really want to go into like the. Let's see, where do we want to go on
I just want to see. I'm trying to get a sense of whether you think you did anything wrong.
At the time?
At the time and now.
Okay, I want you to also respect one thing. We're married. This is
I appreciate
my
that.
husband. Okay, so when you and we're not like between us, we know what happened at the time, and it's entirely not appropriate to talk about because we're not. We know.
Should we move on to
We
the next
know.
question?
No.
But isn't it a fair question? I'll ask you too, Villy, because I don't want to disrespect
Okay,
you guys.
I will say.
Is it a fair question
No.
to ask? Is it a fair question to ask you both whether you think at the time, Mary, you were doing anything wrong?
If you knew the personal situation with us, and on that side, I wanted everything to go away. I am like a big peacemaker, and I thought, you know what? We're not going to have this go into a trial because that's drama. That brings in my father. It brings in his family, and no matter what personally happened between us, that as far as those moments that changed everything, in those moments. Oh, we know. And the fact that I decided that I, as the adult, was going to make this go away, and we would all get on with our lives, and that I would get back, and not even get back, resume. Like, I got some responsibilities to some children, and a marriage to resolve, and for the best of everybody, I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to stand up, and this is going to just, the least amount of drama, the least amount of harm.
Mary, I can't accept that. This goes to the heart of the whole story for me. When you say the best for everybody, what I'm trying to ask is whether it was the best for Villy at the time. I mean, he was a 13-year-old boy, he had a big decision to make. Was it the best for everybody, Villy?
To continue it?
You're saying you made a big adult choice, Mary. And I'm not trying to turn this into an adversarial interview. I'm trying to say, when you say you made a big adult choice and made the decision that was best for everyone, was it best for Villy?
Oh, you mean,
To
should
pursue
I have...
this.
Okay, so should
I
I
want
have...
If you would appreciate it, I just want to let Villy speak. Can you answer that question, Villy?
Let's clarify the question, though. Should I have said not guilty and brought him to trial?
No. Should you have pursued the relationship at all? Should you have walked away?
You're presuming that I
Both of you. It's a question to both of you. You were the adult, Mary.
Okay. But that doesn't mean the personality makes it
Okay.
so...
Here's a succinct way of saying it, and I appreciate this is a difficult discussion.
But I think it's kind of disrespectful that we're married and you're going there.
No, because it's the inception. I just want to get that. I just want to deal with what happened at the time. I appreciate that you're married and this is an enduring relationship. I understand that. I'm not saying it was wrong. I'm asking you to answer the critics, okay, at the time. Villy, you're 13 years old. You're transported back. You can make the decision all over again to pursue this relationship. Do you do it?
Would I do it after knowing my kids now? I think there would be a lot of things that I probably would have changed. I mean, I've looked at it. I spent a lot of time thinking about it. Like, if I was to pursue it, what would have happened? What ifs? And I really don't know. I can't. There was a lot of complicity of emotions going on with the both of us, her and her personal life and my personal life. And I think a lot of those elements kind of brought us together to be where we are today. Was it right? Was it wrong? I don't know. All I know is that it happened, and everything that did happen, that we do speak of, that we felt within our hearts for each other, was real. But in the legal system and for the average normal it is obviously wrong for many reasons. And I respect the law and the reasons for those laws. And from personal experience and from seeing other people go through it, it is what it is.
I'm pretty sure he meant to say complexity.
Yeah, I do too.
Isn't it a slip of the tongue that he said complicity? Like, as in being involved in an illegal or wrong situation. I thought that was a very telling slip of the tongue. But also, he's not allowed to say no to that question.
Right. No. Well,
there's no way he could honestly answer that if that was his answer.
The fact that he said, I don't know, I think is telling. Yeah. Because he can't say, and notice the first thing he said is knowing my kids today. He didn't say knowing Mary today. And I think any parent will attest to the fact that even if you had a bad relationship and you have kids, it's really hard to go back and say, I would have not done that, because what you're saying is then I wouldn't have these kids today. Right.
The kids made it worth it.
Yes. And so to that point, if you listen carefully, he is not saying anything about Mary. And my guess is, and I look at their relationship today. I mean, not today, but in this video, he is so uncomfortable, and she will not let him answer a question.
No.
And when he says it's too dangerous, and when he says, I don't want to talk about it, every time he says, I don't want to talk about it, it puts her in a better light. Not really, not to anybody witnessing, but it's like negative about him. Yes. And so she talks about it. But yeah, this is just, there's so many layers here, and I feel so bad for this whole situation. We're almost done with this. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. I was just going to say, I find it interesting too that you see whenever things start to heat up, and I apologize for ever questioning this interviewer. He's a lot better than interviewing it.
I told you.
I was like, who is this? No, he's doing great.
He actually did a great job, because he got them, well, not them, her. He got her comfortable with her, or with him. He asked the right questions. He made it seem like this is amazing, and she got comfortable, and then he went in for the kill.
If he would have come in hot, they would have just left. So
exactly.
He's doing fabulous at his job.
That's why I was like, just wait.
Talk about that critique. But I find it interesting that as soon as things start to heat up, what does Billy say? He's like, can we go to the next question?
Yep.
Which is something so typical for people who are in emotionally abusive relationships of any kind, whether that's romantic or family, whatever. Like, oh, I know this is a trigger. I don't want to be around for this explosion. Can we please move on?
Would you say this story, your story, is almost an exception to the law because you fell in love? That makes it all okay?
I wouldn't say it's okay, but I think a lot of it could have been handled a different way. Could have been less stressful on the both of us. You know, when they found out about it. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's this type of stuff isn't new, and it's gone back ages. You know, but our story was the first one to be publicized, and
I can't imagine how tough it was to live through that for the both of you. The media storm, the court case. What was it like back then in the eye of the storm?
The media, the court. At that time, all I was thinking about through that entire time was how she was doing, and was she okay? And would she be able to get back to her family, her kids? I never really thought about myself. I was more worried about what she was going to be doing, you know, or how she was doing. And I kind of felt like maybe they should have gave us a chance to talk things out, or at least work things out. They kind of just cut the contact, you know, between us. And I just think that wasn't right. I think they should have at least maybe supervised visits or something to at least talk things out, or figure out what's going to go. You know, I mean, considering that she had given birth to my child, and it was a real struggle. I mean, there was a lot of things I didn't understand at that age. I didn't know anything about the law. I didn't know anything about raising a family. I didn't know anything about. All I knew was that I loved her. That was it. I didn't know anything. Like I said before, it's basically like anybody who's figuring out love for the first time. Their first taste of it, you know, and that was me. And you know, and then I just think I think a lot of cases just kind of get put into categories. And they see the highlight of it, but they don't really look at the individuals a little more deeply. I think what happened with us was that, this is huge. She's a beautiful sixth grade teacher. Her background, where she comes from, where I come from, they figured, oh, this is a really great story, and they just ran with it. Was anybody caring for her feelings or my feelings? No, nobody really cared about that. And I think, and I'm not trying to play the victim here about any of it. I just think that it should have. There's a lot of things that could have happened, but they didn't. There's a lot of help that we both could have gotten that didn't happen.
Have you at any point really felt like a victim? People like to call you a victim.
Well, growing up, I've always had people telling me that's not really how I feel. That, oh, she made you feel that way. So I was always getting that. So now that I'm older, and I've grown up and I've been through so many experiences, I know my feelings. I know who I am. I know who I am as a person. I know, and I love every little thing about me. And I wouldn't change who I am and all my experiences that I've come through in life that brought me here. I mean, it's been a ride for sure. And and I think there is always going to be critics, out there. A lot of people that just wouldn't understand. I mean, I for one can't, being 35 and looking back, like switching the roles. I mean, I for one couldn't do that. When I look at it, I mean, after even raising my own kids and looking back at it, I was like, I for sure couldn't do it.
What do you mean by couldn't do that?
I mean, just from knowing everything that I know now. I mean, I couldn't. I mean, even without knowing. And seeing a 13-year-old, now, me being 35, I couldn't like look at a girl that young romantically.
Is that hard to hear, Mary?
I don't relate that to our situation.
But it's the exact same situation in reverse.
No, it isn't. No.
But
things that are not actually the same should not be treated as if they are. But that's from the United States Supreme Court, by the way.
I mean, it doesn't even cross my mind, I mean.
Guess what? It doesn't cross my mind, and it never did. So I would never.
What do you mean it never did? I mean, it did.
When I didn't pursue it, but stop, Matt, please. Please.
I mean, in her defense,
stop.
I mean, the entire time
I never pursued it. I never thought about it, and it's never crossed my mind in.
My heart goes out to him.
I know.
Because, oh my goodness, like, this is a bad enough situation. And I was thinking, like, oh, good, they didn't let them have contact. They need a clean break. I forgot there was a child at that point. So, like, literally impossible for him to ever fully get away from the situation. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that if there was not a baby, then he would have had a very different life.
I agree.
I'm not saying the reason there's a deterrent title like that is because maybe there are people that a male that might even consider it.
I would say there are people out there.
There might be. And
there are definitely, I mean, for us.
Good reason there's the law is there.
I mean, there could even be a guy that's my age that finds a 13-year-old attractive, and that, I don't know, just for me, I couldn't do it.
I don't, and he doesn't. We're saying neither of us think that way, but we're both happy that there's such a law that's
Mary,
there.
you see what I'm saying? I'm not trying to cause an argument here. When you were 34, you did think that way, and you did do exactly that.
I was pursued, and I didn't think about it. I did not think about it.
See, okay. That right there.
At that statement.
That is the problem. I was pursued. You were pursued by a 13-year-old? No. She is just unwilling to take responsibility for her actions on this. And I think it's so fascinating that she will not let him talk. And he is trying to say, I can't understand how me at my age, which I think might be how old she was-ish at the time, is attracted to a 13-year-old. I don't see it.
Yeah. And then she comes in with, see, neither of us think that way.
Right.
But you did.
Okay. Yeah, but you did. Okay.
But that's not an excuse for any crime, is it? And I'm not saying this is. You can't just go, I didn't think about it, see you later, sorry.
No. Morally, I thought about, you know what? I'm not even technically single yet, and he's calling me his girlfriend. And I thought that was, it's like, this is not right. He needs to let me get on with my life, and I'll see you later. I'm not saying it in a cold way. It was breaking my heart to know there were two things. I wanted him to move on in his life and experience everything he needed to, all of his dying pledges of love. And I'm like, you gotta finish school, you gotta do this. He was accepted into an art, one of the big art academies here already back then. And I wanted him to go experience life, and I wanted to raise my children.
But I couldn't because he wouldn't let me let him go. That's what she's saying.
Oh, she's the victim.
She's the victim. Absolutely. Yeah.
I didn't expect to get pregnant.
I know we just paused.
That's okay.
But that little line right there, I didn't expect to get pregnant. Why was it even possible? Like, this is such a problem.
There is literally only one way to get pregnant.
Yes. I just wanted to move on with my own life. I didn't expect that when I was consistently sexually abusing this minor that I would have a pregnancy resulting from it. Well, maybe that shouldn't have happened in the first place.
When I used to talk to kids about healthy relationships, one of the things I would say, and I do believe this very firmly, if you are not ready to have a child, you are not ready to have sex. And some people might say that is wrong to say. I don't know why, but that is just one of, whether you're using protection or not, natural consequences of sexual activity. Just is. So.
And I think too, it just goes back to her talking about this like a consensual relationship.
Right.
Like, yes, there was a baby. That still does not mean that you have to continue to be in a relationship with this minor.
Right.
No. Yeah. No one is forcing you. You are the adult here. These are choices that you made. And yes, he was involved. He made choices too, but he was a child.
Yes.
And the adult in that situation will always take more responsibility, or should always take more responsibility.
Right.
Where we were at the time, whatever, I am entirely in support of the laws that are there.
So you're saying it's night and day, for example, between what you did and the laws that would surround pedophilia?
I'm actually was entirely evaluated probably 3-4 times, and there's nothing, not a single trait of anything inside of me that that's pretty loud and clear in any document.
That's like
that's a child.
That's like a mental imbalance where somebody has like this, like their attraction, what they're attracted to, it kind of stops.
To prepubescent.
No, a child under...
No, prepubescent.
Well, a child. A 13-year-old would qualify.
He wasn't prepubescent.
Does that make a difference?
Okay, first, let's go back. How many 13-year-olds are having sex with 13-year-olds? Plenty across the world, millions and billions.
Not a lot of them are having sex with 34-year-olds.
No, but are they having sex?
It's not relevant.
It's not.
Thank you. It's not relevant.
Yeah.
That was a brilliant comment. That means nothing.
Yeah.
I don't.
And, this is a larger conversation too, but I think there is a difference between a habitual attraction to a child and choosing to abuse one specific child. Like, you don't have to be, I don't know if I can say that on here, a ped. You don't have to be a ped in order to abuse a child. That can exist outside of that. So I don't know. That's also just a weird defense.
Yes. It doesn't really matter. I think what you're trying to say is it doesn't matter if there are any other youth that she was attracted to. Doesn't matter if today, later on, she was attracted to children. It doesn't matter. She abused this one. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Yes, you said it much better than I could. Yeah, it happened, and one time is enough.
Right. Okay.
It is absolutely relevant. Are they having sex?
I don't see it as being relevant.
Are they having sex? Are they having sex?
I'm certain that they are, but how is that relevant to this case?
They're not children. They're developed. They're not children having sex with children. They're teenagers. They're doing actually really, and scholastically and across the board with even in legislation, they recognize that 13-year-olds are going to have sex.
So should we rip up the laws and say it's a free-for-all, 13-year-olds with whoever they like?
No. Because there are cases, and it's called strict liability, there are cases where there could be abuse. There could be. So you have to have a law that acts as a deterrent, because there are people who might pursue and abuse a situation. But when 13-year-olds are with 15-year-olds, with 17-year-olds, with those really, when they're with, it's happening. We all know, everybody knows across the world it's happening. Teenagers, it's natural. There's no laws that are saying teenagers can't do that. They're going to.
I think what's so weird too is I honestly don't know what point she is making.
Yeah.
What is her point? That teenagers are having sex and so it was okay to abuse a child, which by the way she did. She's trying to say that abuse of a child is something very different than what she did because they were in love. That's abuse. Yeah. What you did was abuse and could still be abuse. Like not in that same sense, but there seems to be a very abusive dynamic here that we obviously can't dig deep into. Yeah.
Well, and I feel that, if we're seeing this on a publicized news interview, how much more prevalent is it behind closed doors?
Yeah, so true. Wow. Yeah, you're right.
I can see you bristling at any mention of pedophilia in this discussion, Mary. I understand that. Are you saying, what you're saying is that this is a unique case? You've never been attracted to anyone else underage?
Okay, let's just, I hope this is, I want this to be useful to your audience, and I don't think it should be confused and overglossing that term is specific, like as Billy was talking. It has nothing to do with me. One, because he wasn't prepubescent, he wasn't a child, and we have to respect the intelligence of your audience.
No, but I've got to jump in on their behalf because when you say he wasn't a child, he was 13.
Stop. Okay, shall we go back to 13-year-olds are having sex with 13-year-olds?
No. When you say he wasn't a child, that's the only part I'm grappling with.
Okay, if the two 13-year-old teenagers are having sex, do you want to say there's two children having sex? Is that what you would say?
Sure, but then I'd say it's infinitely worse if that 13-year-old has sex with an adult woman.
It is true, but we're not. Let's not stray away from. I want to entirely respect the intelligence of your audience. I am offended by the whole line of questioning because I think on an intellectual level. I don't think you're giving, even to ask the question. I think you're misleading the audience to even, and all y'all, just look up the definition and then say, did he even ask the right question?
So why did you spend 7 years in prison? Why were you sent to prison?
We could talk for 4 hours and I would be happy to start. And any attorney out there, any legal authority will be right with me on this. It's called a strict liability law. If sexual intercourse happened, no matter if he was the aggressor, no matter if he initiated it, and being the younger, I am the adult, sexual intercourse happened. In our state, there are 3 elements. Sexual intercourse happened, the age difference, and third element, we were not married. What does that say right there? And we were not married. That means if we had been, in theory, if we had been married, no crime. I'm just saying.
But there's a reason that 13-year-olds don't marry 34-year-olds. It's just not right.
Oh, well, it happened in Virginia, legally.
So should it be a free-for-all across the states?
No, but it is, it's not entirely, I'm just saying it's a strict liability.
Okay, can I put all those terms to one side? Did you do anything wrong?
I've always said, it was, should I have run from him? I did at one point say, you have to go. I did. I cried harder than, and I didn't know I was pregnant. But I did say, you have to go. Do you understand? You have to go. It was very hard.
I think legally it was wrong.
Well, we know legally it was wrong.
Okay.
We now know that.
Emotionally,
we now know that.
Emotionally, the connection that we felt for each other. Your answer would be yes or no.
I'm going to be the same as you. I would not take back anything. I'm going to say the same as you.
Hey,
Did
hold
he say?
up.
And
That's not what he said. He said, considering my children, I don't
Right.
know.
Did you
That is
see his
so
face?
manipulative.
Did you
Yes.
just see his face when she said that?
Man, she like so manipulative throughout this whole interview. Put that right there. I'm going to say, as you said, like,
Oh,
let's forget about what you said earlier. You agree with me right now. And now that we both know.
Yeah.
And something else too, of course, we can't be certain about the timeline, but if she says she didn't know she was pregnant, well, she was
Right.
pregnant with the first child. If I read correctly, she was pregnant with the first child during sentencing or like during the trial. She was pregnant with the other one right before she went into prison because she had that baby in prison.
Yes.
So she's saying at the point that she cried and asked him to leave is what? Whenever things got public?
Well, at least.
Whenever
Yeah.
she was about to go to prison?
Yeah. Which I'm sorry, but she told him to leave. I told him, just go. Just go. He is a kid. And I mean, when you think about this, like, so when they got married, he was 22, she was 43, and she had served in prison for 7.5 years. So let's just do the math on that, which, just so you know, Rebecca and I are not great at math. So
Not the
I
ones to
have,
ask.
we personally don't like math. But here's what I can tell you. 22 minus, what did I just say? 7.5 years is 14.5.
Baby.
She was in prison for 7.5 years, and they got married when he was 22, and 9 months earlier, she was released. So he was 22 years old when she was released, and they got married. She had served for 7.5 years, which makes him 14.5. So she's talking like this was like, oh, well, I told him to leave. He made the decision to stay, all of this stuff. She is talking like this is so grown up, this conversation. He was not quite 15.
And I'm sure, like, the version of the conversation she's giving us, I'm sure is not complete.
Clearly.
Like, you should just leave. I'll just be alone. And I'm sure it was more manipulative. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh, we can see that. All right.
And if I could do something different. One, I don't live a day like that. I do my best every single day. And I can look back and say, Mary, did you do your best every single day? And I'll say yes.
When you send
every day.
When you send your children off now in the mornings, you say, I love you, do the right
Go
thing.
and do the right thing.
Did you do the right thing?
You know what? I'm not going to continue with you trying to have me answer that question. I told you I did my best every single day, and I lived my life that way, and I did. And in that situation, it doesn't even matter. I did my best. And even that I feel, even at the moment, do I wish I had a different attorney? That's the only thing I can tell you at this point. Should I have had a different attorney? And I say, yes. But at the time, did I make the best choice? He was my neighbor. Was he the best choice for an attorney in this situation? Heck no.
Do you think you were wrongly imprisoned?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because you don't know our story, but we do. We do.
You should never have gone to jail?
If you knew us, and if you knew the intimacies, which guess what, are nobody's business now. They don't belong. I wouldn't do that to our marriage. I wouldn't go back to that time and put it in a book. I wouldn't have a movie that tried to the movie out there that is not true. The book out there is not true. Nothing that's ever, it's like, but
I've never heard you say that before. That
which part?
You shouldn't have gone to prison.
I did the best that I felt at the time, the decision that I made. And I tried to take the guilty plea back when I realized I was tricked and coerced into it. I tried to take it back, and it was a few weeks after, and I have said that before.
Okay. She just won't take responsibility.
Yeah, literally. I don't regret abusing a minor. I do regret not getting away with it.
Well, and I regret the lawyer I chose. So that sucked.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. So I would like to just stop that. That's pretty much that whole, the rest of that entire thing is that what you just saw is pretty much, I mean, she literally takes no responsibility for it. It wasn't her fault. She didn't do anything wrong. Well, the entire time, it's so fascinating. I just want to know where Billy is looking, because he's not looking at the interviewer at all. He's looking over here. And I just think, I don't know. It's very fascinating.
Is there somebody back there that feels safe? Is it just trying to like avoid, maybe focus on something else?
Right.
What is it?
So I was thinking at some point he kind of told the story of the fact that he did recognize that it was abuse. I don't know if that ever happened. I don't know if I made that up in my mind or if that really ever happened, but they wound up, he filed for separation. When was that? 2017. And then they got divorced in 2019 and she passed away in 2020. And I guess he was living in California. She was living in Washington. And when she called him to tell him the news, because I think she was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancers, it was pretty bad at the end. And so he went and was with her when she died. So just a really sad story all the way around. I do remember, and I think it was in the beginning of this interview that we watched that we didn't see, something about, he asked one of the daughters or said something. I think one of the daughters was Billy's age when they did this interview. Billy's age when it happened, like 13, 14 years old. I don't know how you can justify it.
Yeah, the level of just cognitive dissonance as she's talking was fine.
It's so true. So, well, yeah. So welcome to that. We were talking about it, and when Rebecca said she had never heard of that, Mary Kay Letourneau, we've got to do this one on podcast. So yeah, disturbing. You can watch all of the interviews. They're all out there. And I don't think any of them are any better. She clearly never took responsibility for what she did, but the amount of justification is incredible. So what do you think?
My brain is tired.
I know. It's bad stuff. Well, the good news is the laws were changed. Thank you, Mary Kay, for that. I think that is good. And shocking that they weren't there before, because since then we have seen a lot of female teachers abuse children, students, and it's just a horrible thing. And so let's protect our children. Yeah.
Now I understand the story you were referencing.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you for going along that ride with us. And with that, we will see you next time.